Good morning. This is Father Stephen Kelly from St. John's Church in Detroit. We're continuing our series of daily morning meditations where we generally look at one or another of the lessons that are assigned for morning or evening prayer, what is known as the daily office lectionary. And I thought today and tomorrow we would continue looking at the reading assigned in the Acts of the Apostles. We're kind of building up this momentum of the spread of the church, not only to the Jewish people who are, of course, members of the original covenant with God, when, of course, Jesus Christ has come to fulfill that original covenant. But we're also trying to figure out, they're trying to figure out how to get traction in how to incorporate the Gentiles, those who are not Jewish, into this new relationship with God through Jesus Christ. And so we're in chapter number 10 now, and we just heard about yesterday about Peter healing Dorcas while she was dead, and he brought her back to life by God's grace. And so already things are really kind of lighting up quickly. Here we're going to have something interesting, and it'll be continued tomorrow. So I'm only going to deal with a portion of today's reading, and then tomorrow we'll fill in the rest of it. So chapter 10, beginning, we're going to jump up to verse number 9. On the morrow, as they went on their journey and drew nigh into the city, Peter went up into the housetop to pray about the 6th hour, and he became very hungry and would have eaten. But while they made ready, he fell into a trance. And he saw heaven opened and a certain vessel descending unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit with the 4 corners and let down to the earth, wherein were all manner of 4-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air. And there came a voice to him, Rise, Peter, kill and eat. But Peter said, Not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean. And the voice spake unto him again the second time, What God hath cleansed, that not thou call common. This was done thrice, and the vessel was received up again into heaven. Now while Peter doubted it himself what this vision which he had seen should mean, behold, the men which were sent from Cornelius had made inquiry for Simon's house, and stood before the gate, and called and asked whether Simon, which was surnamed Peter, was lodged there. While Peter thought on the vision, the Spirit said unto him, Behold, 3 men seek thee. Arise therefore, and get thee down, and go with them, doubting nothing, for I have sent them. Okay, and it continues for a couple more verses. But I want to look at this little section of it right now. And tomorrow we'll talk a little bit about Cornelius, the centurion, and what part he has to play in this story. But what we hear today, of course, is that as we're figuring out this, the church is figuring out how it is that God is incorporating the Gentiles, one of the issues is going to have to be the Jewish dietary laws. Now, we know already that Paul has a big thing about those who are within the new church who are claiming that the Gentiles must become Jews first in order to be members of the new covenant, right? They have to fulfill the old covenant in order to be a part of the new covenant. And for Paul, one of those issues is that people are expecting all these new converts to be circumcised. Now, here's another issue, of course, and that's the dietary laws of the people of the Jews. And so we get a snippet here of the way, in one of the things in which we see that God is changing and kind of fulfilling the way in which we are in relationship to him now through Jesus Christ, and not through the actions of doing particular things. And we know, of course, that Jesus taught in his Gospels the story about that it's not what goes in the mouth that defiles a man, it was what comes out of his mouth, right? Which is the evil of his heart. And so here we hear about these foods that are considered unclean by the people of the original covenant. Things like pigs and things like shellfish. Those are the sort of things that are considered unclean, and you are forbidden from eating. Of course, that's going to change, because as we heard here, Peter hears this voice, the Spirit telling him that, in fact, don't call something unclean that God has made clean. And so it is that the dietary rules will be updated and suspended because of God's fulfillment and in Jesus Christ of the law. Now, tomorrow, we'll look a little bit more at what this has to do with this Cornelius, the centurion, because Peter realizes that tomorrow why this is happening. And we heard right at the end of this particular part of the service that Peter couldn't get it. He couldn't figure out what is the meaning of this particular thing. This will all be fulfilled when we look at the lesson for tomorrow. So today is Thursday. It's the Feast of St. Margaret of Scotland. And we also will remember what's known as the Octave Day of Corpus Christi. Remember, we had Corpus Christi on Sunday, and then we did it the Thursday before. Well, it's the Octave Day of Corpus Christi. We'll make a mention of it as well today. It's so nice. We not only did it twice, but we'll make mention of it one more time today at our Holy Communion service at 9 a.m. And then, of course, evening prayer at 5 o'clock. And I do hope that you can join us for those either live in person, you're most welcome to do so, or online, join the live stream at stjohnsdetroit.org. And until then, I hope you have a fantastic Thursday. May God bless you.